What's up? I've got a quick tutorial video for you today. I want to show you how to take a basic focus blog or archive page, which looks like this, and turn it into a thumbnail style archive page, which looks a little something like this. And what I mean by thumbnails, that's these images right here. We've got text wrapping around them, hanging out to the right. So this would be a thumbnail style archive presentation as opposed to the full image archive style presentation we see in a default focus installation. And I want to illustrate something real quick. I'm running, so this other site that I showed you is running in readability mode with a sidebar. You don't have to run a sidebar. I recommend you don't. This example site I've got here is running in readability mode also, but with no sidebar, which allows large images and headlines, for example, to take up more space, more of the available real estate. That's why it looks a little bit different. Some of you may be running your sites in focus mode, which I can show you real quick. And this is what that will look like, where everything becomes centered. But the information I'm going to show you here is going to apply regardless of how you're running your site. I'm going to keep this in readability mode though, because I think it just looks best with this type of presentation. And all right, so let's get started. So what we need to do, right now the full size WordPress featured image is being conveyed here on the blog, your blog page. And we don't want that. We want a thumbnail to convey there. And this is the most non-intuitive part of the process. What we need to do to achieve this different result is to open the skin editor. Here's how we do that. And specifically, we want to edit the home template. Home is synonymous with blog. This is a traditional blog page. And so what we want to look for is the WordPress featured image, and we want to change its settings. So if we scroll down here, we'll notice the post box blog, and within this there is a box called the WP featured image, and we'll click on the settings icon. Here's what we want to change. We want to choose a different image size to convey. Now before we do this, let's hop back over to the WordPress admin. Within your WordPress admin, you can go to settings, media, and you have some basic image sizes. And WordPress does this, it's a handy little feature, but whenever you upload a featured image or any image to your media gallery, WordPress will automatically crop additional images in the following, in whatever dimensions are specified here. So I upload one image, let's say WordPress actually crops 3 other images based on these sizes that I can then use in various places in layouting or for any other purpose. Now, one thing I will recommend is that if you are going to try and run a thumbnail style presentation, it's in your best interest to establish a consistent aspect ratio for your images that you're going to use for this purpose. And then you can go in and change your thumbnail settings. These are all square thumbnails, but you might change them to have the same aspect ratio as the images you know you're going to use. And in that case, all of your image crops and everything will be very, will retain the image integrity. Everything will stay the same aspect ratio. Images will take up predictable sizes. You have a lot more layout flexibility when you know what you're dealing with and when you know the size of the components you're going to be dealing with, all that kind of thing. So just to, this is just like a little bonus content here, but if you're gonna do this type of presentation, you want to establish an aspect ratio for the images that you're going to use, and then you want that aspect ratio reflected here in your automatic thumbnail sizes. So anyway, in this case, 300 by 300 is going to work for what we have or what we're trying to show here. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the medium-sized thumbnail, which will be 300 by 300. That's the first change I'm going to make. And the second change is we want the alignment to be left with text wrap, because ultimately we want the text to sit out to the right of the image, just like this. So with those two selected, we will click this X, we'll scroll up, we will save the template, and let's go look at the results. We'll hold Shift, click Refresh. Okay, so we're getting the smaller images, but we still don't have the text wrapping, even though we specified that the text should wrap. And this is the next step. With Focus, we need to make one little custom CSS adjustment to get that result that we want. So we'll pop over to the Custom CSS page. We're going to click on this, Skin, Custom CSS. Okay, I've got this already loaded up. I will have this custom CSS available for you on a documentation page specifically for this process. It will be linked in the description of the video, so you can hop over there, copy and paste what you need, paste this into your custom CSS, click the Save button, view your site, hold Shift and click Refresh to dump the browser cache, and boom, look at this result. We've now got the text wrapping around the image. The thumbnail is still clickable to take you to the individual post, which is what we want. And now we've got basically the presentation style that this little example site has. Now we got to do one more thing here. We want to look at, so for some sites this may be applicable, it won't be in all cases, but if we look at an archive, let's say we want our archives to display in the same way that our blog page is now displaying. So we'll pop over there. Let me delete this so you can actually see the bottom of this page. Now by default, Focus uses list style archives rather than full content presentation. So like, you know, no image, no teaser text, no that stuff. So by default, a Focus archives page is just going to be a list of links. This is really easy to scan. I think it's a really good way to do an archive page. These pages are going to be faster. But if you want the images and stuff like that, if you want archive pages to look like your blog page, all you need to do is go into the content and display options, go down here to posts and pages, blog and archives. We will scroll down and we can choose a different archive style than the list of links. We'll choose blog. It's going to mimic our blog settings. So we can hit save, go back over here and re-look at our archive page. And now we see that this is presented just like our blog page now with this thumbnail style presentation, and it works the same way. You can click through to go to the actual page itself. That's how it works. So pretty simple to do. It's just not our normal process where we just click some options and it just works. We have to do a two-part thing. The step one is to go into the home template and to modify which image is served in place of the WP featured image on your blog template. And then the next piece of the puzzle was to go in and add that little bit of custom CSS that will force the text to wrap around the image. And then once you save that, you're good to go. You get that thumbnail style archive presentation. All right, you got any questions about this? Pop over to the forums or leave me drop me a note in the comments below and I'll help you out. But otherwise, pretty simple. All right, take it easy.